Welcome to my final Mountain West Bowl game preview and the final Mountain West game of the season for the conference, the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl featuring 8-4 Wyoming versus 11-2 Toledo on Saturday, December 30th, just before the change of the new year there at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Central Time on the CW network. I had to look that up, wasn't sure exactly what that was. It's kind of an offshoot of some other network. It's like a combination between I believe it's a combination between like CBS and not Paramount Plus, but some other combo deal. Look it up yourself. I didn't want to include a link in the description to its website because I wasn't 100% sure that the websites that were coming up were the legitimate one, and I didn't want to send people to some kind of like spam website. So, search with caution, but it's on the CW network. 53.5% chance of winning for Toledo per ESPN, but Vegas actually has Wyoming favored by 3 points in this game. I really wish that this was on the mainstream network. I didn't have a beef with it being on the Barstool Sports network because that was easy to find. It was on an app, boom, it's right there. CW network is a little bit more of a questionable, try to find that one. But I'm going to find it eventually. I'm probably not going to share it with anybody because, again, I don't want to post links to different sites that I'm not 100% on. But I'm going to find a way to watch this game, and I hope a lot of you do as well because this is going to be a great game. I really do think that this is going to be a very good game and a great way to end the Mountain West season and what has been a great Mountain West postseason setup for the conference. This is Craig Bohl's last game as well, one of my favorite coaches in college football. He has had such an impact on the game, has done such an incredible job of turning Wyoming around. The only reason that Wyoming fans are at a point where they are complaining about an 8-4 season is because of what Craig Bohl did. That program was nothing before Craig Bohl came along, and he has made that program from a bottom feeder below the garbage heap of the Mountain West to a actual contender, not just mediocre, but inching towards the top third of the Mountain West, knocking off teams that they shouldn't win, knocking off Boise State some seasons, not this year, but some seasons. He has made this team into a contender, and this is his final game, his swan song. I'm going to be watching to support him, and I hope a lot of people as well, because this is going to be a good game versus Toledo that was second in the MAC, 2 points away from coming into the MAC game 12-0. They were 2 points away versus, I think it's Illinois. They were 2 points away from whatever the Power 5 team was that they played from being 12-0 coming into this game, probably in the top 25, with a shot at the New Year's Six game that Liberty's playing in now on the line. And while they lost to it lost in the MAC championship to, I believe it was Ball State, 23-44, significant loss there. If a New Year's Six is on the line, maybe they have that extra motivation to get the win that they need. So neither of these teams are teams you should underestimate. 8-4 Wyoming, but with their coach in his final game trying to go out on a spark versus a Toledo team that was really close to being in a New Year's Six, on 2 games away from being in a New Year's Six this year. It would have been a tough discussion between undefeated Liberty, undefeated Toledo. I think Toledo probably would have gotten the nod because they'd had that Power 5 win. This is going to be a good game. Now, bowl opt-outs are plaguing this game like they are every game across pretty much college football except for the playoffs now with the new format. So Toledo is going to be missing the number one player that got them to this point. Their quarterback, DeQuan Finn, 63.4% passing, 2,657 yards, 22 touchdowns, 9 picks. Also, factor in the ground game, 563 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. For Wyoming, their cornerback, Colby Taylor, 29 tackles and 7 passes defended. He's not playing. Again, Toledo's also missing an offensive lineman. There may be some other guys that have opted out since I made this video, and I apologize if that is the case. This is way at the end of the bowl season, and things are very dynamic with the transfer portal. But coming into this preview, those are the 2 guys I'm looking at missing out. And for Toledo, it's a major one, and it explains why Vegas is giving Wyoming the nod, despite the fact that Toledo has a much better record coming into it. So when you look at key players, who's stepping up? Well, for Toledo, quarterback's not there. As of this video, they still have their running back. Penny Boone, 1,400 yards rushing, 7.2 yard average, 15 touchdowns, 219 yards receiving, and a touchdown receiving as well. He's going to be the X factor. They're going to build their offense around that guy. He is going to be the one that can run them to a bowl win in this. And Mac, you can argue about competitive level all you want, but 1,400 yards rushing is impressive versus anybody. For Wyoming, it's going to be Andrew Peasley, transfer from Utah State, 1,823 yards passing, 60.6% completion percentage. He's also had 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he's rushed for 403 yards and 5 touchdowns. He is their X factor. The reason that Wyoming, I keep wanting to say Utah State because he came from Utah State, but the only reason that Wyoming right now is sitting at 8-4, the reason that they were a contender this year to potentially be in the discussion for a Mountain West Championship game is because Peasley had a huge season for them. Now, statistically, that might not look like a massive season, but it was. If you watch his game, this guy is a true grit, gutted out guy that takes hits and keeps on ticking and throws some very, very impressive passes. While also contributing in the run game. You cannot let this guy scramble on you because he will hurt you on the ground. So for both of these teams, they have an X-factor player who could take over. But what is going to be the key to winning this game? Well, for Wyoming, that X factor is Peasley's got to take over. That's how they're going to win this game. He has been the difference between a 6-6 Wyoming team with a solid defense and this 8-4 Wyoming team you see. Coming into the preseason, I got a lot of hate from Wyoming fans in my Mountain West preseason preview for predicting a probable 4-8 because I didn't see them beating Texas Tech, and maybe a high side of 6-6. That's what I was saying was the potential for Wyoming this year. And I said, they can get to 6-6. I underestimated the Wyoming defense. Absolutely did. I thought they were going to be good. I did not think they were going to be elite, and they were great this year. But I said a good Wyoming defense is probably going to get them to 4-8. I don't think they have a passing game because they didn't last year. I mean, Andrew Peasley was on this roster last year, and he was their guy, and he was not the Andrew Peasley we've seen this year. I said they don't have an offense. They have a great defense. Defenses, yes, win championships, but they don't win them by themselves. Defenses keep you from losing. Offenses win you games. So without an offense, which they don't have, and they lost so much running potential to the portal and to injuries preseason. I said they're not going to go anywhere. Well, Andrew Peasley turned that 4-8, 6-6 that I was predicting into 8-4 and could have been more if he had been healthy throughout the whole year. He struggled with some injuries. When they have lost, he has had bad games or not been playing. UNLV and Boise State, both those losses, he had under 150 yards passing in both of those games. And versus Boise State, he had 85 yards passing and negative 17 yards rushing. If he has a down game, Wyoming's not going to win this. They win when he performs well. I mean, you can say that for any team because the quarterback is the focus of the offense. But especially for a team like Wyoming, they don't have another X factor on this roster. He's the guy that gets them in the game. So if he can have an explosive Texas Tech level performance, they can win this game. Now for Toledo, I mean, they're down their quarterback. The focus is going to be running the offense through Penny Boone. You cannot let Wyoming make you one-dimensional. This Wyoming defense is too good to beat them with a one-dimensional offense. It's not going to happen. Yes, your quarterback's out. You've got a great running back. The focus may be, let's keep with what we know works. But that's not going to work versus Wyoming. You cannot beat them one-dimensionally. They're just too good. The passing game has to still be an important factor. And the passing game is an important part of this offense. This is a balanced attack Toledo team. 223.5 yards passing, 202.8 yards rushing. The passing game is too important to this Toledo offense. Now, you might, if you are a Boise State fan watching, or if you watch my Boise State preview and you know that I was calling for them to be one-dimensional versus UCLA, you might call that, a little bit of hypocrisy there. But the difference is the Boise State offense was built for running. That's what that offense is built for. It is a run-based, run-focused offense. It has been most of the year. That's what they've been working towards, especially with Taylor Green. It was a run offense. The passing game was there to assist the run, not the other way around. With Toledo, that's not their offense. You have a guy pass for 2,500 plus yards, 22 touchdowns. The running game is huge, but you need the passing game. It's too important not to include it in your offense, and Wyoming is too good at defense to only go one-dimensionally versus. You have to have a passing factor to win. If you are only rushing the ball, Wyoming, Craig Bohl will stop you. So summarizing this game, Toledo is the better team on paper. They're 11-2 record-wise. They have a better roster. It's a little easier to recruit to Toledo than it is to, middle of nowhere Wyoming. But what is the energy level? It's right now they lost the MAC championship game by quite a bit. They're out. They had a shot at the New Year's Six. They wanted to be in the running for the New Year's Six. They're not playing New Year's Six. In fact, they're playing in a game that's not even being televised on a actual television network. And they don't have a quarterback. What is the energy level momentum for this team coming into this one? Wyoming, their fans are not happy about playing in this bowl game. I know that. But I got to believe the team is excited to go out on a high note for Bohl. Craig Bohl, this is his last ride. All the key players are there for Wyoming. I have to give the win to them. I'm predicting a 31-20 win for Wyoming in this game. I think Craig Bohl's defense shows up, dominates. The score might even be less than that for Toledo, especially with the losses that they faced offensively for them. I think Wyoming's defense shows up strong. I think that Peasley has an inspired game, and I think that Craig Bohl ends his incredible career at Wyoming, at least by Wyoming standards, ends his incredible career building that program back into being, well, I won't say back because they haven't had any consistency until he got there. Building that program into a conference contending team. He ends that career, that legacy, with a win to get them to 9 wins in the bowl game versus Toledo. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. It's general Mountain West content, obviously Boise State focused channel, but Mountain West content, previews, reviews for the preseason and the bowl season, and anything impact the Mountain West throughout the year. I talked about that as well. West Coast oriented football, and of course Boise State. If you're interested in any of those, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Big Blue!